at readyservices.com. Reed Collision Centers, serving Overland Park, Kansas City, and St. Joe. Get a free photo estimate in minutes at reedcollision.com. That's reedcollision.com. And Ryan Lawn and Tree, for a limited time, enjoy 50% off your first lawn application. Sign up today at ryanlawn.com/spring. That's ryanlawn.com/spring. It is going to be a packed show today, as it typically is when we are here at Radio Row. Coming up about 15 minutes from now, we will talk with Iowa head coach Ben McCollum, Northwest Missouri State in the house. He is a great story, obviously. We've talked about Ben McCollum a number of times on this show over the years, with our connection going back to Northwest Missouri State, and they're in college together, and then the great work he did as a Bearcat, as a coach, and then Drake, and now with Iowa, and that great run that they had. And what an amazing scene it was with that Elite Eight that included 5 Kansas City kids on the court at one time with Iowa, and then Keaton Wagler for Illinois. Coming up at 10:40, Fran McCaffery, formerly of the Iowa Hawkeyes coach. We'll have a conversation with him about the difference in today's coaching versus the past as Bill Self makes his decision. He is returning, so we'll talk with Fran McCaffery. Matt Lane, we'll talk some Chiefs with him coming up at 11 o'clock. We'll be joined by Joey Chestnut. Joey Jaws will be here at Radio Row. Looking forward to that, to see, just to talk to Joey Chestnut about his life, and we'll see what else comes up in that conversation. At noon, very much looking forward to this conversation. Brandon Burgett, the newest assistant coach for the Kansas City Roos, and let's be honest, more importantly, guys, a Lee Summit North Bronco. What's the point of even talking with an assistant coach who didn't go to Lee Summit North? Not me. I wouldn't do it, that's for sure. If I'm going to talk to a Roo assistant coach, it's going to be a guy that's a Bronco and went to Lee Summit North, all-state member as well. So you know what? Brandon and I combined, Sterling, he and I combined have made one all-state team. So in basketball. So there we go. That's going to be
incredible.
I mean, right? Yeah. That's when our powers combined were like Captain Planet. Only if there was somebody with Captain Planet that did nothing, we're like that. He would be all 4 of the elements.
Bam Adebayo and I combined for 83 points that one night.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, and I've given you credit since then. So please give me my flowers when it comes to Brandon and I and our state all-state teams. Thank you very much. Kevin Kruger will be here at 12:30. He is the assistant coach for Illinois, the son of Lon. We'll talk with him. And you know what I want to talk to him about, guys, is I'm just fascinated at the recruiting of Keaton Wagler. And, you know, how they found him, how he was overlooked, how his development has helped them get to this spot. Obviously, his dad has connections to the Kansas City area and K-State and everything like that. But I'm really curious about that part of it, as to, you know, how we've talked about it so many different times, but now an actual assistant coach that's part of the recruiting process as to how this guy got out of the area here and ended up at Illinois. And then we got some sports at leisure today in the 1 o'clock hour, presented by Johnny's Tavern. We'll be giving away $25 to Johnny's Tavern. That's how the show lines up. We'll see if it ends up being that, as always, when it comes to Radio Row at the Super Bowl or here at the Final Four. I'm not sure of what today and tomorrow will bring in terms of lining up and things being on time, just simply because the Super Bowl was so good in how everything seemed to be on time, and it just never happens, that I wonder if we used all of our fortune on that week. We'll see. Maybe we're just kissed this year with some of these interviews. We'll see. The Kansas Jayhawks to coach at Kansas. Michael, I'll bring you in right out of the gates, buddy. We had talked about that. It certainly seemed like all the momentum was heading towards him stepping down and retiring. I said last week, the longer this thing goes, you know, this was going into the weekend, and I said, if we don't find out something by, you know, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday at the latest, then I'm pretty sure he's going to be returning, because you'd like to have an idea of who the coach is going to be with the portal opening next week, that if, or at that point would be the week after. But if Bill Self hasn't made his decision next week and it gets later on in the week, then there's no other decision except to return, because There's a lot of stuff that would have to happen from him deciding to step down to then who the next coach is and Tyron Stokes and things like that. He makes the statement, Jayhawk Nation, with renewed clarity and the ongoing support from our administration, I remain focused and committed to Kansas basketball competing for a national championship. I look forward to seeing and hearing the best fans in college basketball next season at Allen Fieldhouse. Michael, your reaction to Bill Self returning and the statement.
I was shocked. On a scale from 1 to 10, the shock factor, the shock meter was probably at an 8 or a 9 because after the crushing loss to St. John's, he said something that Bill Self has never been, I guess, whenever asked about his retirement or if he was going to step away from coaching, he was always like, no, I'm going to be the head coach at Kansas. But after losing to St. John's, he said I had to go talk to my family, talk to the doctors, see if this was something that made sense for me to continue with my health. And whether he got cleared from the doctors or he decided that he just wanted to continue coaching, come back for another season, obviously I'm thrilled, but I think that this is a decision that he definitely made with consulting his doctors and his family. And I think we're going to see some of these recruits or, Tyron Stokes, the number one player in the class. I think a decision for him is going to come pretty quickly now.
I wonder too, guys, and we'll go around the room and just give our initial reaction on this. Are we going to be watching a Bill Self year to year that at the end of next season, if that's cutting down the nets on a Monday night, or if it's sometime during the NCAA tournament, is going to be a Bill Self saying, well, yeah, I'm going to take some time with my family and decide if this is something that I want to do, and, with the health and things like that, yeah, I'm going to take some time to figure this out? Or is this Bill Self has done that and is making a commitment for, let's say, even 2 years, right? Not just a year to year. Maybe it's a 2-year cycle, and then at the end of what would be the 28 NCAA tournament, he would say, I'm going to take some more time and figure out what my next steps are. Do we think this is year to year, or we're not going to be talking about this at the end of the 27 tournament?
Yeah, I think if you're coming back, it's a 2-year situation. Again, barring another health scare, I think that this would be you'd want it to be and hope would be a 2-year at a minimum commitment. Part of me was laughing. I was thinking, is this going to be the most cruel April Fool's joke we've ever seen?
Oh, my God. It was April 1st. He announces.
And I know that Kansas came out and was like, this upcoming thing, we're not participating in April Fool's. And I go, that's exactly someone who's participating in April Fool's would say. That was going to be devastating. As the Mizzou fan in me, I was hoping it was an April Fool's joke. But no, he's going to be coaching until he's 93 there, continually cutting down nets. But to answer the actual question, I think it's probably a 2-year commitment. I doubt it's going year to year, again, barring another health scare.
I think it has to be year to year just because with the health situation that happened, I mean, he missed the Colorado game earlier this last year. And I think he had another stint put in his heart. So I don't really think that this is something long-term. They definitely can't plan on him being there in 2028. I think this is likely going to be a situation where after every season, he talks to his wife, he talks to his family, and he talks to his doctors, and they come to a collective decision. I don't want to say that this year is going to be his last because I thought last year might have been his last.
Is this Travis Kelce? Is Bill Self and Travis Kelce the same guy?
It seems very.
Did he sign an extension with a poison pill that if he's if he's the head coach in 2027 of June, then a $40 million guaranteed contract kicks in for the 28 basketball season?
So guess what? I think if that was the case, he'd probably still be coaching.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not stepping down. Hey, Travis, about that whole poison pill thing, I've decided to go ahead and take the $40 million guaranteed. Sorry about that. I think this is I don't know if he spends the time and discusses whether or not he wants to come back if it's only for a year. I would think that if you're going to make the decision to come back, it almost would have to be for more than a year, because if you're only saying, well, I want to come back and then maybe next year I won't, or the year after that I won't, I think at that point then you just simply step down. Unless you really think that this year with whoever you have coming back, if you've got some idea of that, whoever you have coming in, we know about TK, but, is Tyron Stokes a guy that, is going to commit once he got a commitment from Bill Self that he was going to return? And you're saying, you got a couple of one and dones there, the number one player in America in Stokes. So let me just ride this thing out this year and then see where we're at after that. I don't know. My guess is if you're going to take the time to really assess everything and examine how you coach, what it takes to coach at the level that he does, the competitiveness. I can't imagine it being for, hey, 12 months from now, I'm going to readdress this. I don't think that would be fair to KU either. I don't. I'm not saying that Travis Goff would say, yeah, no, thank you, coming back for only 1 year. You'd say, yeah. It could also be guys that I'll throw out the possibility that if it's year to year, Bill Self may be, looking around and saying there's no obvious candidate. So, if I feel like I can still do it for another year, I want to return for another year. Maybe at that point, there's a clear and obvious candidate that can take over. And then, at that point, I'll make a decision that maybe I step down then. I would guess that this is more than a year, that this is probably a 2-year commitment for Bill Self to the university. And I'm not saying that Travis Goff would say if it's only 1 year, sorry, you got to go, Bill. But I would be surprised if every year he's going to start doing this year-to-year thing, because it's going to be tough to go out there on the recruiting trail for high school kids. And I know there's a lot about the transfer portal, right? But Bill Self and what his strengths have been developing players and keeping those guys around in that system. I think it's tough to do that if it's a year-to-year. And I may be back next year. I may not. Hey, you're going on the high school recruiting trail. Come commit to Kansas. I know you're not a one and done, but you'll be there. I'll be there your freshman year. I don't know about sophomore year. I don't know about junior, because then you start getting recruited again. So I'm going to guess this is a multi-year thing for Bill Self.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's different than again, when you're playing versus coach. And I know I made the joke of Travis Kelce, but I think there is the big differentiator of when you are coaching. The organization, the school needs to know it's more. How many coaches have we seen just do it? It's my final year. You see it occasionally, but even then, it puts the school in such a hard spot, because when you say that out loud, how do you recruit? How do you? You're right. How do you get guys there? If you're saying out loud, this is my final year, then all those freshmen were like, okay, well, I don't want to go there if I'm not going pro. I want to be at an organization, and maybe NIL changes this. Maybe the transfer portal changes and dudes don't care as much anymore. But if I were a high school senior and the head coach is only there for one season, I don't know if I'd choose to go to that school.
Yeah, I would question that as well. But I mean, if you're a one and done, then it doesn't matter. If I've got Bill Self for 1 year,
Sure.
and that's where I want to go, then that's where I want to go. I just wonder what the renewed clarity is. With renewed clarity and the ongoing support from our administration, I remain focused and committed to Kansas basketball competing for a national championship. Maybe the renewed clarity of, I've taken some time, I've thought about this, I've examined what life is going to be like post-basketball. I know what it's like. I've experienced that for a little bit when I wasn't able to coach in the Big 12 and the NCAA tournament, a few years ago. And is that what I want to do? Can I manage my health while also doing the job at the highest level that I expect of myself? Then maybe that's the renewed clarity. And if there's renewed clarity, if that's what the renewed clarity is, I don't know if it's just for 1 year. The last point I want to make on this, and then we'll take a timeout and we'll talk with Ben McCollum, head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes, whose name was mentioned around the Kansas job when people were wondering if Bill Self would step down. This, to me, like, we've seen Roy Williams, who also stepped down at North Carolina, retired on April 1st, and people wondered if it was an April Fool's Day. Roy Williams is retiring, April Fool's. No, he's actually retiring. He decided to do it on April 1st. But this was, like, we've seen those coaches, Tony Bennett, Roy Williams, whether it was Coach K, whether it was Jay Wright or not, Chris Kleiman at Kansas, in the emotional press conference that we heard there with the administration talking about, this system has taken a good man away from football. This was an easy out for Bill Self, in that I'm leaving college basketball because of my health, not because of the NIL or the transfer portal, not because of the new age college basketball that I just don't want to deal with anymore. It's not because of that. It's because of my health. Because some of these guys are stepping down. Bruce Pearl stepped down really to give his kid a job, but also it's like, do you want to deal with, what's going on in the pay for play right now and what the unknown of the future is, right? Et cetera, et cetera. This was an easy out. And if he's not doing that, then it's clearly not blaming the system, not making excuses for what's going on. and taking another year or two with eyes wide open of understanding what it's going to take to get Kansas back to the top. This, if it was the I hate this system and I don't want to coach in this anymore, but I don't want people thinking that I'm stepping away because of that, this was an easy out and a clean break, that it was the health reason is to step away. So I think that's also something to consider. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling here at Radio Row. Ben McCollum will be our guest coming up at 10:20. So in a few minutes from now, more Zone coming up next. players from Kansas City, and then when Keaton was on the floor, that half the court was Kansas City players, and obviously there's a lot of pride around here in the Kansas City players and the high school basketball talent that's here. You've been able to tap into that and see that those guys from Northwest to Drake, from Wyoming to their hands and things like that. So, we'll just have to see what happens with that. But we are here at Radio Row, live at Radio Row in Indianapolis, and hanging out here as we continue to bring on different guests. And we talked with Ben McCollum. We're going to talk with Brandon Burgett coming up later on in the show, Kevin Kruger, James Jones. Joining us now is Fran McCaffery, head coach of Penn, and he's here with Coaches versus Cancer. Fran, how are you, sir?
Doing great.
I appreciate you joining us here. What a great run through the Ivy League for you guys, and what an amazing game that you guys had there in that championship. What was that like to be on the sideline, obviously coaching it, but living through the highs and lows and the drama of that game?
It was an incredible game on a number of different levels. We had just played Yale 2 weeks before, had a great game up at their place. I thought we were really playing well at the time. Got into the Ivy tournament. As you know, only 4 teams make the Ivy tournament. Not everybody gets in, so that's step one. So we get to the finals, beat Harvard, score in the last couple seconds, and then we're playing Yale, who preseason was the best team in the league. They came in first place in the regular season, and boy, T.J. Power was unbelievable. So many guys played well, but when you have your best player go for 44, hits 2 threes in the last 22 seconds. We're down 6, ties the game. Trust me, that's not coaching, right? And
great play call. Nice job. Way to draw it up.
Well, you'll laugh about that because I was asked that by the media afterwards. Like, what did you draw up? Throw the ball to TJ, get out of the way, and then fortunate enough to win in overtime. But there's no better feeling, as you know, watching your players celebrate. A victory like that and know what that means. They're going to the NCAA tournament, won the conference championship, going to the NCAA tournament, see them hugging each other. We had a connected group all year long, and you want that as a coach to see them enjoy that level of success.
Fran McCaffery is our guest. You guys got matched up against a pretty good team in the first round, and they were kind of a sexy pick to win their region. They ended up winning the region, Illinois. What did you guys see from this Brad Underwood team? And as you're playing them, do you see a team over there going, yeah, that's a national championship caliber team?
Well, Brad's a real good friend. And after the game, we shook hands, and I said, look, I said this to Jay Wright in 2016. Villanova knocked us out of the tournament when I was coaching at Iowa. And we had beaten North Carolina that year. We had beaten Michigan State twice. Michigan State was ranked number 1 when we beat them. I said, Jay, you have the best team. You could win this whole thing. And of course they did. And I said to Brad, I said, I told this to Jay Wright in 2016, you got the best team. And I really believe that because they have size, they have depth, they have shooting, they have defense, they have a great point guard. I mean, there's nothing that they don't have. But most importantly, what they have, and we just said it, it's a connected group. And they can beat you in a lot of different ways. In the regional final, they didn't shoot it well in the first half, but you still win by 12. You find a way with a team like that. Stojakovic comes off the bench and plays extremely well. So that team, I think, right now is playing as well as anybody. I mean, I think, obviously, if you get here, you're playing really well. I mean, you look at all of those teams, and any one of them could win it. We all know that. But I think they're really playing at a very high level. They play both ends, and they're hard to score on.
Yeah.
And they rebound at a whole completely different level than anybody else.
Fran McCaffery is our guest, head coach of Penn. We've been talking a lot today about Bill Self making his decision that he's going to return, and he had spent the last couple of weeks of deciding what to do, and obviously it's from a health perspective for him as to whether or not he was going to return, and he does. When you were, moving on from Iowa and before Penn, was there, not that it's the same thing as Bill Self of health concerns, but was there a conversation of maybe it's just time to step away, or what am I know from Bill Self's perspective, he's like, what am I going to do if I'm done coaching? I've tried that. I walked on the beach and then I said, well, now what?
Well, Bill is somebody that I consider a friend. I've known him for years, and I just really have a tremendous amount of respect for him. I'm glad he's coming back. I want him in the game. Most importantly, as a friend, I want him to do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And clearly he made that decision, so we should all be happy for him. For me, there was never a thought of not coaching. I mean, I said right away, you know, I'm going to be coaching somewhere. You know, I was lucky. My alma mater opened at that time. You know, it's not only my alma mater; it's my hometown. You know, so within pretty much 10, 12 days, I knew where I was going. I was going back home.
Yeah.
And I think any coach that's in this profession for as long as I've been, that's a blessing.
Yeah. Fran McCaffrey is our guest. Thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate it. Coaches versus Cancer, partnership between the American Cancer Society and the National Association of Basketball Coaches. Great stuff. Make sure you get screened early. We love talking with the coaches here with the Coaches versus Cancer, and especially being in Kansas City, Missouri with Norm Stewart and getting this whole thing started and everything with the Coaches versus Cancer. It's always cool to talk to the coaches that are invested in this.
You know, I remember when Norm got cancer, and it kind of shook the whole college basketball world. And I know how much pride he took in seeing how this grew,
Yeah.
because it started there and then it just grew from one community to the next. In Philadelphia, you know, oftentimes the blueprint, because there's 6 Division I schools in the city.
Yeah.
In Iowa, we had the 4 Division I schools in the state. And I started in North Carolina, where we do a lot of things. So uh, and we started our own event in Albany when I was coaching at Siena. And it's when all the teams come together. You know, you think about the whole thing is predicated on us beating each other. We're all on the same team,
Yeah.
and we work together. And I think I take great pride, and for me, it's grown. I'm on the National Council for Coaches versus Cancer. My wife was on ACS National Board. She's now on the ACS CAN Board, which is the Cancer Action Network, where we go lobby Congress and Senate. I've done that a number of times. She does it every year. So we literally sit down with congressmen, senators, and ask for huge funds. You know, we do great events. We raise millions, but we're asking for billions
Yeah.
to go to the fight against cancer. There's no other bipartisan issue that's more important than that.
Yep. Fran McCaffrey is our guest. Well, congratulations on a great run this year and making the tournament, and best of luck and continued success there at Penn.
Appreciate it, Jason. Thank you.
Absolutely. There's Fran McCaffrey joining us. We'll take a timeout, come back, and continue. loved Hilbert. I loved. Anderson with you. We continue hanging out. We'll head up until 2 o'clock. Coming up at noon, we will talk with Brandon Burgett, assistant coach of the Kansas City Roos. He will join us, Lee Summit North, Bronco, and JCCC, KCK Community College, and now assistant coach under Mark Turgeon at Kansas City. And we'll talk with him about what Mark Turgeon is doing and his role there. So looking forward to talking with Brandon Burgett, and I don't know, just shooting the breeze with the old Lee Summit North fella. So looking forward to doing that. We will also talk with Kevin Kruger coming up in the show a couple of hours from now. Lon Kruger's son, he's an assistant at Illinois, and we'll talk with James Jones. We got Sports or Leisure as well. Right now, very pleased to be joined by Joey Chestnut here in the zone on this Thursday edition. And now I've got some St. Elmo's shrimp cocktail right in front of me as well. I mean, I'm talking here, Joey. I introduce you, and then they just put it right in front of me. The segment has just started. How am I supposed to do this?
It's no. I mean, it'll make you cry for a little bit. That's the magic about their cocktail sauce. It hits hard, but then it goes away, and you kind of like, was I just being a baby? You got to try it again.
How much of it can you?
Oh my gosh! I think my record is about 20 pounds in 10 minutes. Oh, that's shrimp
Of
with the
just
sauce.
the sauce?
No.
What about just the sauce?
Nobody eats just the sauce. You got to put it on something.
But 20 pounds of the cocktail with the sauce?
Oh yeah, the shrimp. So it was like 16 pounds of shrimp, and then about 4 pounds of sauce.
Oh my gosh!
It hits.
I mean, how long did you cry?
Oh my god, my eyes were watering, my nose was running, my ears hurt. It opens up your nasal passages so much. Like my ears were literally like almost ringing.
For how many days?
No, only a couple hours.
Okay, only a couple of hours. That's good.
It's actually pretty clean. It gets out of your system pretty quick.
Okay, very good. Joey Chestnut is our guest. Speaking of that, I've always wondered, like, you don't have to go into detail, but how rough is day 1 and 2 post these eating contests that you're in with the 55 different records that you hold?
Every food's a little different.
Okay.
But like anything, practice. Your body's, the way I train is building a tolerance.
Yeah.
The first time you eat a food a lot, your body doesn't know what to do with it. And then the second time, all right, it builds a tolerance. It's more comfortable. Then you can eat a little bit more. Hot dogs. The next day, things aren't pretty. I'll still be bloated, and but day 2, I'm feeling better and better, and eventually, if I'm eating clean, I can get back to my normal weight in about 4 days.
So 4 days, that's not bad.
Not too
That's
bad.
Not bad. Do you?
But
how much do you have to work out though, and just to stay in decent shape?
Work
with all
out,
these?
a little bit of jogging, lots of walking, but the most you can't. There's no. I put myself in a calorie deficit right away.
Okay.
It's high fiber. If I eat sugar, then the weight stays on me.
Right.
I love beer. I love beer a lot, and that I'd probably be 30 pounds lighter if I didn't love it. That's what holds a lot of the weight on me.
Do you have any records with beer drinking?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Just with friends?
No, no.
I don't know. Maybe if it was just that's a crazy story. That's how I discovered I could win all these championships was through beer. But when did you sort of figure out you had this talent?
Oh my God, it's been weird. I grew up the biggest eater in my family. It was something like I was aware of, and I was like, all right, try to eat like everybody else. Then in college, my friends found out, and then I had to pretty much signed up to one contest, and then I was like, oh my God, I don't have to be ashamed of eating a lot. Like it was the craziest thing. Like you're on stage and people are telling you to eat more. Like, well, my whole life I was like, all right, try to eat like everybody else. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it, and then I became a weekend warrior, and it just got bigger and bigger.
There's no way you could have ever imagined that you would have made a career out of doing what you're doing.
A psycho would think that's going to be their job.
I don't, Joey.
I didn't think it. It just happened.
Yes. What did you think your career was going to be?
I
What did you?
get an engineering degree, and then working. I wanted to work. I did work for a construction company, work in construction management, and it was great. But dude, this is way more fun.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, man. Is there anything that you won't participate? Has there been something that you did it and you're like, nope, never again. That's the last time I'll ever do that.
So I did cow brain tacos.
Okay.
And they sold it to me like, oh, they're gonna be sautéed, and they gave me a recipe, and like, all right, so I made them at home, and they're not that bad. They don't taste that bad. So when I got to the contest, they weren't done like that. They were
Oh, no.
they were boiled. They
Oh,
looked like veins.
no.
They were like they were purple veins. They looked like they were brains.
Yeah.
They had nothing like the recipe they sent me, and so there was like a Stand By Me moment, like where the guys were getting sick, and I was just watching the guy next to me, making sure I was one ahead of him.
Oh my God.
And
And
I-
did you win that one?
By one.
Oh my goodness, man. That's-
I will not do that one again.
Yeah, I can't imagine like that. I mean, that's a real discipline then to be able to work through that. I mean, do you just disassociate at that
Yeah,
point? Like
you go to a
you're-
happy place. I try not even to look at the food. It's just like you be one ahead of him.
I am not a very adventurous person with food. I tried octopus once, and I was eating it. I couldn't do it, and I could feel the tentacles and like the suction. I'm like, I can't do it. It just the texture thing was
It
I was
wasn't
done.
Yeah, octopus isn't a great texture. And it really didn't have much flavor.
Right. I'm
It-
like,
it-
what's the point?
It was more like I mean, I'll do it if everybody else
Yes.
is doing it, but it's not like I'm going to seek it.
What do you if you're sitting around the house? What's a go-to food for Joey?
Oh, go-to food. What does Brie make? I'm not a really good cook, dude.
You just eat.
You gotta find a woman that or a partner that's a great cook. And Brie, my fiance, she's, oh my god, what does she make? She any kind of chicken's great. She'll make, oh my god, she'll do homemade tortillas and tacos.
Okay.
Taco nights. Those are one of my favorites.
Not the
But-
cow brain tacos.
not the cow brain tacos, but
That's
yeah,
good.
her taco nights are some of the best. Yeah, we do a fresh garden, so we always have great pesto.
Okay.
Or basil is always awesome. So she does all of her pasta is great. Yeah, pasta it's a nice cheat day meal for me.
Okay.
Because I stay away from carbs, but if I'm going after it, good pasta is great.
It's interesting. Like, how disciplined do you have to be with your diet? Like we talk about, like you doing these, you have to train and you have to get ready for these competitions. But how disciplined is your diet outside of training?
So like if I like today, I'm eating pretty clean because tomorrow night I have a chocolate cake eating contest. So
Can I enter?
I know. I gotta go be in Tampa, so I'll be eating chocolate cake tomorrow night, and then it's yeah. So like today I'll eat a little bit of protein, and almost no carbs. I'll eat really light, and go in empty and loose tomorrow, and then afterwards it's gonna be a high fiber, no sugar diet
Wow.
on Saturday and Sunday.
Joey Chestnut is our guest. Okay, so this show randomly over the years, we have a guy that we have on every few days named Mick Schaefer that does TV in Kansas City, and we have been randomly obsessed with the Kentucky Bend, and
Kentucky Bend.
that the part of Kentucky that is in Missouri and is surrounded in Fulton County.
Oh my
so-
God, I know where you're going with this.
Yes. So like you growing up or being there, like that small little part that is in Missouri, but it's Kentucky. It's surrounded by Missouri, but it's in Kentucky. Were you there when
I don't
you grew
know.
up?
I don't know how it's there on my Wikipedia page, but I'm not from there.
That is so stupid.
What I think it was. So I was at an
Because
event.
now I just want to talk to you about the Kentucky Bend.
I was at an event in Kentucky, and then I was partying with these guys, and I think one of those guys somehow works with Wikipedia, and he was able to, because I've tried to change it, and other people have tried to say I'm not from Fulton, Kentucky, or Fulton County, and somehow it always goes back to where Joey Chestnut. It's just funny. Yeah, not everything on Wikipedia, but it's fine. I've stopped trying to change it.
Well, because we've talked about before, we're like, well, this Kentucky Bend, and like Joey Chestnut's from there, and it's like, yeah, he's from that. Like, oh man, that's crazy. Because the next question would be, how do you end up at San Jose State from there?
I know.
You know?
Yeah. It's I grew up in California, and
Unless you didn't go to San Jose State,
I
who
did.
knows?
I lived in San Jose for years and years.
Yeah.
And moved out to Indiana about 5 years ago.
Yeah. So do you want to learn with us now more about the Kentucky Bend and this piece of Kentucky that's surrounded by Missouri?
Teach me.
It's a part of the state, but it is in a different state, And so I really was fascinated to talk to you about that and how much time you spent there in the
Yeah, well,
Kentucky.
Now I'm gonna have to check it out.
You live here in the area though, right? Now?
I live in Westfield, just north of here.
Okay, just north. Are you a Hoosier fan? Are you a Colts fan? Do you find yourself rooting for the Pacers or still California where you grew up?
Oh my God, yeah. So actually, since moving out here, it's amazing how much basketball is part of the culture. College basketball, pro
Mhm.
basketball. So I'm rooting for the Pacers. I'm following the Colts more and more. I grew up a Raider fan.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
I know it's been rough. So
Yeah.
actually,
You're in Kansas City now, just so you know.
It was a lot easier to follow the Colts.
Yes.
But I love it out here. Everything it's great. The winters are a little bit rough,
Okay.
but it's a great place.
Do you think Mendoza might be the answer for your Raiders?
Oh my God, oh, following the Hoosiers. Yeah, they're a team. He's so young.
Yeah.
I hope they don't put him into the fire.
Yeah.
He's such a good kid. I don't know if the Raiders are the right. We'll see what happens. Maybe
This is a cool connection for you, though, right?
Yeah,
You watch him at Indiana, now he can go play for your team.
the Raiders. It's a meat grinder, man.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if they're ready for. We'll see.
Yeah. Joey Chestnut is our guest. He's here with St. Elmo's and the shrimp cocktail that's in front of us and that cocktail sauce as well. Amazing stuff. Good luck at the chocolate cake eating contest tomorrow.
Oh,
You know,
thank you.
How do you train? Are you training today for that or training tomorrow? I can help you.
It's chocolate cake.
Okay, if you need some help training, I can certainly do that. You know?
Yeah, this is chocolate. Yeah, just eat for 5 minutes, clean up with some dude wipes.
Joey, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
There you go. There's Joey Chestnut. Joey Jaws joining us here on Radio Row. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next.
You're in the
you so
zone
much. I appreciate
on
it, man.
Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Like so fascinated.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10
don't change it.
days. Here is how it works. You place any bet with FanDuel using your bet reset token. If it does not
It says
hit,
born in
you'll
Fulton
get up to
County.
$300 back
County,
in bonus
Kentucky. And I'm like,
bets
that's the Kentucky
every
bet.
single
Holy shit.
day for 10 straight days. You cannot
Yeah, there's a
beat
small
that.
piece of
That's a
Kentucky
bet
surrounded
that's
by Missouri.
unbeatable. It's super easy.
Yeah.
All you have to do is go to fanduel.com/local to sign up
It's just
today.
all
Go to the
surrounded by
app.
land.
This is
It's so
such
fucking
a
weird.
phenomenal offer.
weird,
Make
man.
sure you do this quickly.
Yeah.
If you are a new customer,
weird.
this is one of
Yeah,
the
I know,
best
right? I
bets
wanna go there. We talk
maybe
about it so
the
often,
best bet
so.
you'll
See you in
ever
Louisville
see
next? Oh,
out
okay.
there. So
Yeah.
make sure you go to
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
fanduel.com/local.
let's. Hilbert was JV. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Let me turn your mic on. Actually, that helps. Yeah. Headphones good. Higher, lower.
good.
All right. Cool. Bethany, also, can you photo estimate in minutes at reedcollision.com. That's reedcollision.com. And also Ryan Lawn and Tree. For a limited time, enjoy 50% off your first lawn application. Sign up today at ryanlawn.com/spring. That's ryanlawn.com/spring. I've got the St. Elmo's shrimp and cocktail in front of me, but I do not dare eat that on the air because of how spicy, and I'll have the shrimp, just not the cocktail, because the cocktail sauce is
Grow up.
no, dude. Have you had it?
No.
Okay, so yeah, it'll just a dab of it will make you cry.
Dude,
so yeah,
Grow up. If you
I've
don't,
grown
you
up,
took
I've eaten there.
smelling salts on air.
that's what
Rip
it reminded me of.
Well, rip it, dog.
Yeah, that's what when he was talking about that, his ears were ringing and burning in his head, and his eyes were crying for like hours. I'm like,
Dude,
yes,
it
that's what
cannot
it.
be that hot.
Dude, it is. Yeah, go. Why don't you grow up and try some? Why don't you
I
grow
would
up and get to
love
Indianapolis?
I would
All right.
love some. I'm
Grow
a
up-
spicy connoisseur.
Yeah, grow up and get to Indy one time. I mean, stop being a child and not heading to Indianapolis ever. Go one
Well,
time to St. Elmo's.
as a Southern man, I head to the southern part of the state. Okay.
I know. Yeah, you've spent so much time in Indiana, but never driven up to Indianapolis and had some St. Elmo's. I mean, get it together, dude. Figure it
Yeah,
out.
it seems like a long way.
A dip on the on the shrimp. That was stupid.
They wouldn't sell it if it's this concoction of pain.
They would actually. They would, and they do it.
If Joey Chestnut is like, yeah, it's really spicy.
Thank
We
you.
I'm
can't
gonna
hear you,
trust-
Darcy. I don't think. I can't hear you.
I can hear him.
If,
I heard
if
him just
Joey
fine.
Chestnut is saying that it's spicy, then I'm gonna err on the side of it's probably
Thank you.
pretty hot.
Yep.
Okay, but Joey is a fast eater. Well, I'm a fast eater as well, but he's not meant for the. I don't know his taste bud.
He's
tolerance.
got a
They're
more
definitely
refined.
ruined.
Yeah, he's got a more refined palate than you, I think. He's got a more eclectic palate than you do, Sterling. And I'll take his take on the fact that he says that he was for 2 hours he was crying and his ears were hurting and head was hurting because of how spicy.
Cleared
it
his
is.
sinuses.
Yeah. Oh, it'll do that for sure. Even just
Well,
one
yeah.
little dab of it. Yep, that's
Yeah.
true. We're going to talk with Brandon Burgett here at Radio Row, assistant coach for the Kansas City Roos. Lee Summit North in the house. We'll talk with him about this program now with Mark Turgeon and some
Speaking
excitement.
of hot, am I right, Jason?
That's right. Yes, some excitement surrounding it, some excitement behind it. That you've got these recruits, Kansas City recruits there that are heading to the Roos, and a number of years of not having really any Kansas City kids. And now they've got a few of them in this recruiting class, so that's a big deal. So we'll talk with Brandon about what he thinks the future can be for the Kansas City Roos and his ascension from KCK Community College, now working with Mark Turgeon and the Roos at Kansas City in Division I in the Summit League. We'll continue rolling along here from Radio Row in Indianapolis. Brandon Burgett next.
Know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if ED is a problem in your
Harrison. I played for Harrison. Yeah. I loved Hilbert. I loved Hilbert, man. Oh man, I was got stories about Harrison. I had to stop playing. Couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't play the old school like no, we slow it down, we play big man. You know, we had Jabron, which was great, but I'm like, you know, we're a bunch of white kids too. We shoot a lot. You know, maybe lean into new basketball a little bit. You know, the calculus is changing. That was in the late '90s, and then Hilbert was like, "Hey, let's lean into basketball here." I'm like, "Of course." I'm done playing, and then Hilbert comes in and was like, "Let's shoot. Let's." Hilbert was JV. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, let me turn your mic on. Actually, that helps. Yeah. Headphones good. Higher, lower.
Good.
All right. Cool. Bethany, also, can you get some pictures on this phone from randomly? All right, Sterling, are we rolling back there, brother?
Yep, your money.
All right, here we go. Coming down 3, 2, and 1. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. We are hanging out in Radio Row in Indianapolis on this Thursday edition of the show. Our coverage presented by Ready Services, Reed Collision Center, and Ryan Lawn and Tree. Joining us now, newest assistant coach for the Kansas City Roos, Brandon Burgett, our guest here in the zone. Brandon, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Good.
I say Roos assistant coach, but let's be honest. Most importantly, Lee Summit North.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Broncos.
Broncos in the house, man. How you doing? You look good.
Good, great.
Yeah.
Great. Glad to be here.
But I wanted to start off by saying Eric Smith says hi.
Okay.
He
yeah.
said, "Hey, tell him I
Oh,
said what's up." I said, "Okay, I'm going to do it on the
I
air."
know. I used to follow him in high school.
Yeah.
He was like the guy I need to be around.
Is that right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Most popular guy right at that time.
He was, man. He was a popular
He was
dude.
he was a jack of all trades.
Yeah, he was a good player,
him
man.
and Scott Bailey.
Him and Scott
Scott
Bailey.
Bailey.
Man. Now they're going to be blowing up the text.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Smith, Scott Bailey. Yeah, that was the crew we were running around with as well. So crossing paths there. So first of all, man, congratulations on getting the job with Kansas City, man. How did that whole thing come about?
You know, it kind of came quick, unexpected. You know, when I was coaching, you know, and we were in the last half of our season, and you know, you see that, you know, they were going to make a coaching change, and you know, I wanted to be involved, but I didn't know how to be involved. You know, and I had some friends of mine that I played basketball with growing up. Quentin Day, who was a UMKC alum, and then Michael Watson, obviously.
Yeah.
Threw my name in the hat with Dr. Martin. And
Mhm.
so Dr. Martin gave me a call and was like, "Hey, tell me why UMKC is not where it should be." You know, and so I gave him some input, and he was like, "You know, would you be interested in being in a position to be assistant coach here?" And I was like, "You know, for sure. You know, I don't think that's something that I wouldn't want to do. You know, that's, you know, dream come true." So um, going down the line, you know, my former college coach Jeff Gio, you know, played with Mark Turgeon at Kansas, and then you know, had some very familiar faces in Kansas City as far as in the AU, you know, aspect of things and programs that had great relationships with me, and told Coach, you know, if you want a Kansas City guy, he's the guy. So got my foot in the door with him, and you know, had a great talk with him numerous of times, and you know, it was like, "Hey, we want to offer you a position." So you know, it was, you know, a dream come true type of thing, you know, when you
Yeah.
talk about getting to the Division I level.
Yeah. What did you tell Dr. Martin when he said, "Why isn't it where it needs
Um,
to be?"
You know, if you look across the board of all the Kansas City guys, you know, especially just last week of watching college basketball, you got 4 or 5 guys that are on the floor at the same time, you know, in the Elite Eight game. So, you know, I just told him we got to build relationships and dig deep into Kansas City basketball. You know, we got a lot of talented guys. I think we can keep a lot of talented guys home. But I think we need to, you know, move games back to municipal, which is one thing we're going to do next year. But also, you know, just finding someone that knows how to put guys in position, you know, to be better for our program here. You know, I think if we can do a good job of just recruiting them early, you know, and building that. Like we did this year, we're just committing those 4 guys, you know, from Kansas City. I think we can do a great job of doing that ongoing.
When he was talking to you, was Mark already hired, or was this even before that?
He was not. He
Okay.
was not. Well, he knew, but I didn't.
Yeah, okay.
You know, he knew, but I didn't. But I think he knew with that hire, it would help.
Yeah.
It would help. You know, obviously, Coach Turgeon being a Midwest guy, you know, grew up in Topeka, and obviously Kansas too. You know, a Kansas alum. I think that would create the buzz. You know, to put people in position to be like, oh wow, Coach Turgeon, you know, is a guy that has done a lot in his career.
Mhm.
Turn programs around to be able to help that. So
I've always felt that Kansas City is a community that has a lot of basketball talent.
sports town.
And I love the fact that, last week, as you mentioned in that Illinois and Iowa game, there were at one point on the floor, there were 5 Kansas City kids. Half the kids running around there playing
Right.
for a Final Four
Right.
were from Kansas City. And I've always just wondered why Kansas City, why UMKC, why the Roos didn't invest more in saying, we're going to get the best around here. If
sure.
they're going to Mizzou or KU, K-State, I get it.
For sure.
But there's no reason that they should be going to Drake or Nebraska
sure.
or somewhere else. And also, how do you find the talent that might have been going to Northwest Missouri State or Southwest Baptist and keep them here in Kansas City?
Right.
It just felt like that. It seems obvious. I know it's not easy,
Right.
but it seems like, why isn't that the strategy to take with the Roos?
Yeah. And I'll say this, years ago, when I was coaching AAU with, junior college basketball when I was at Johnson County, I've coached against or around those same guys that were on that floor, So being in gyms and having an opportunity to be around those guys so they know me, I think that helps too, because there's a lot of kids that are obviously up and coming right now that I've seen recruited or obviously been in the gym with and know their parents.
Was that part of Brandon Burgett's our guest assistant coach for the Kansas City Roos? Was that part of when they go and look for the next head coach, that it has to be an investment in the city and surrounding cities? So Mark Turgeon, and then talking with you and other things, was that the mission was, we've got to make this Kansas City focused because we can't be watching all these kids go to these other schools that could be playing right here.
No, for sure. I think it was a big mission. I think it's time for us to be in a position where we could turn that around. If you look last year, I think there could have been a lot better. And I think if you look at all the guys that have obviously been in the headlines, think about what they can do in the summit.
Yeah.
And I think if we could be in that position on these guys early, you have a lot of guys that could be in a position to be the hometown guys.
Yeah.
So
I've always felt, and it just, Brandon Burgett's our guest, and I feel like it's just been such a missed opportunity. I hate to go and talk about what the past is, but I talk about that because of the excitement of what the future can be,
Right.
and what's immediately happening
Right.
with that recruiting class
Right.
already. I
Yeah.
mean, that's I'm pumped about that for the Roos, but it always felt like if you weren't going to one of the local schools or D1, well, then maybe you're looking at Northwest or Central Missouri or Missouri Western or around or Washburn,
Right.
with
Right.
what Coach Ballard has going on there.
Right.
But it wasn't hey, you're not going to these schools. Hey, you know what? UMKC is right there too. I mean, they're a big time program,
Right.
and it never felt like that was the next option
Right.
before you went to Division II. And I never knew why, but it just didn't have the cachet around town
Yeah.
that I'm hoping it does now. Mark Turgeon brings that. You and your relationship brings that. Have you felt that there's a little bit of a difference when, okay, well, Mark Turgeon's coaching. Hey, well, Brandon. I mean, we know Brandon. We
Yeah.
see him around everywhere. He's coaching there now.
Yeah, no, it's a huge turnaround. You hear it and people talk about it. And then we've brought in guys on visits and people have stopped us, at local places and had conversations. And then obviously you hear people talk about it from word of mouth. It's like the buzz is really around,
Yeah.
and you can feel it. And I'm not saying that just because I'm here, but I'm saying that just genuinely because in the recruiting aspect of us having visits, you see that energy that people bring when they really, notice us being in the public.
Visiting with Brandon Burgett, assistant coach for the Roos. When did you decide that you wanted to get into coaching? Was it immediately after playing? Was it while you were playing? When it was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this for a living?
Yeah, I really didn't, honestly. My former coach Stan Johnson, who's at Loyola Marymount right now, he called me one day, and I was still trying to live the dream. I was just like all the other guys. Like,
Yeah.
I want to play professionally. I want to go overseas. I want to make money. So I was still in on that high of being a basketball player, and he was like, "You need to put the ball down. You need to start coaching." He's like, "You need to go take this job." And I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I was, coaching under Jeff Guillot as a student assistant, GA type situation. And, Stan called me. He's like, I got an opportunity for you. You need to take it. And I knew about Indian Hills, but I didn't really know Indian Hills until I got there and just the true history behind it. And so I took a leap of faith and packed my car up. I was living with my parents and jumped in the car and was an assistant at Natoma, Iowa, And so, granted, we were really good, the 4-year run I was there. We lost a national championship game at Hutch. Recruited a lot of high major guys that moved on to the highest levels. So that kind of got myself in a position to understand coaching.
Yeah.
Barrett Perry was the head coach there and taught me a lot. He was under Jim Boylan in Utah. He coached Division One at many Division One level schools at the time before he came back to Indian Hills. So he taught me a lot of just understanding basketball and understanding the coaching aspect and the grind of it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing Coach Turgeon uses all the time is being able to grind. He's grinding his way into that position. So I look back and just say that, I really grind to get to where I was at. I was in junior college for 16 years. So being in junior college, you got to do everything. You got to scout, you got to recruit, you got to do all the paperwork, you got to drive the bus, you
Sweep
got
the
to
floors.
all
Sweep
that,
the court.
all that. Do the laundry.
Yeah.
Still to this day, I was doing laundry for the guy. So being in that position, I think I've paid the way and just kind of been able to teach people, what it took to be able to get to this position.
Brandon Burgett is our guest assistant coach for the Kansas City Roos. As a recruiter, is it a skill that's honed over the years? Is it sort of natural instinct to where you can see a guy and say anybody can see Tyron Stokes,
Right,
okay?
right.
And I know you probably can't talk about him, but I'll say the name. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anybody can see him and some of these other guys that are out there,
Right.
And go, oh, that's a good player, right? Yeah, I know everybody knows that.
Right.
But over the years of recruiting to the junior college level, community college level, and now in the Summit League, is it where you can identify a guy that these other coaches are missing or identify traits that are coachable? How do you do that to get the Roos built up to where they start getting in on some of the other kids that are there?
Right. I think it's a mix of everything. Obviously, it's just based off of feel what coach likes first. Coach is really honed on evaluating. I think it's been differently for me prior of finding talent for our team. Because at junior college level, you want to find guys that are boom right away that are going to impact and help you. And I think it kind of now fits to, a style of play we want to play. The feel of what we need, culture guy, winning guys. And just being able to really evaluate talent that are going to help our culture and help what we want to do and how we're going to play for the next year.
Brandon Burgett is our guest. Is it those connections around town? How much is that? I don't know if there were phone calls that wouldn't have been answered before, but Brandon's calling, so maybe it's a little bit different now. Do you feel that?
No, I do feel it. I think that's been the biggest plus is being able to call guys right away and be able to kind of put that emphasis on it, being an assistant at UMKC and help these guys.
What do you think it means that this first recruiting class has these Kansas City kids associated with it and in that class?
I think it means a lot because if you just think back in the previous years, how many guys have committed to UMKC from Kansas City?
What, one?
Yeah, I mean maybe if that.
Yeah, right. I was trying to think back the last 4 years. I'm like, who's the Kansas City kid that's been on the roster?
Right.
And now there's going to be more in this recruiting class than we've seen like the last 4 years, 5 years.
Sure. I mean, we've stamped it right away.
Yeah.
And it created a certificate buzz to him hitting the recruiting trail. The first month before he actually was in the job, I mean, for 27 days he was on the road from gym to gym to gym.
Wow.
And just marking that territory early, and that's what I mean by just for us. We have to mark territories, not only in the Midwest but in Kansas City also. To put UMKC on the map, to show that we're in gyms and recruiting guys, and that's what it's about. You have to do your work, and so I think that's one thing we're going to do.
What was the importance of moving back to Muni and playing the games there?
Well, I think we have to put our players in a good situation as far as being able to play in front of people. I think our goal is to have a good ticket sales and get a lot of people that want to support and want to come out and be able to fill the place. I don't think. We're gonna fill Municipal to the top, but I think we can get 2,000 to 6,000 fans to be in a position to want to be a part, and we get our student section could be able to come down, and I think a lot of people will want to see Municipal the way it is or back in the 90s.
Yeah.
When you had the Central and Raytown type feel. To bring that significance to us.
Yeah, that was a big one, man.
No,
It was great. Yeah.
I mean. Me personally, I feel like that was the last time that Municipal was looked like a basketball arena.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's how we want it to be.
Yeah, I'm hoping it and it happens soon. Brandon Burgett is our guest. As you look at it personally, and maybe from your own goals long term, you mentioned grinding through junior college, community college. You look at a Brad Underwood who was at Dodge City
Right.
and spent so many years grinding from that level to now being in the Final Four. Do you look at that as like, people probably need to see that there's talented coaches everywhere.
Yeah.
Ben McCollum was at Division II.
Right.
I mentioned Brett Ballard at Washburn.
Right.
Talented coaches yourself, and what you did with JCC and KCC. Is that sort of an inspiration that you see those guys that are like, there's opportunities now and doors open that maybe before it was, well, we're not going that route because that's a junior college coach.
Right, right. No, I thought when I saw his press conference and I thought that hit home.
Yeah.
Just because when I first got my head coaching job at KCK, we had to do a lot of things, like Coach said, and I think to be in the position he is, he was like, I would crawl there because sometimes you get overlooked in those situations when you're in that position, and I think we've done a great job, at KCK and Johnson County, but I think we get overlooked in what we have to do on a daily and how we have to be, mindful of what we do, to help young athletes and what we have to go through to fundraise money, and what we have to do to get these guys in a better situation, when they come to us, and I've always wanted to treat my programs like they're a high level, and obviously we have to grind to get our programs in good situations to be able to help guys to be able to move on because you need the resources.
Yeah.
And so being able to have that and obviously do it from the ground up, it's been great. But I don't want to ever take away from having that same feel where I'm here. We still have to grind and do all those things to, keep your program in a good standard.
It's interesting you mentioned with the junior college, community college, that it's you got to find guys that can contribute and make an impact right away.
Right.
And you got them for 2 years and then they're moving on. Does it change your scouting or recruiting if it's, well, we don't need guys to make an impact immediately? It'd be great if you did, but we also are developing these guys along the way. Does it change anything from your mindset? Are you still looking for those high impact guys or combining those particular things?
I think you combine them. Because you fill roles for what you have coming back. You fill roles of what you have returning. And what you need to be able to keep your same position in which you are in the league. So I think once we find our group and complete it, and then coming back, for a year from now and be in that position to where we can figure out, how can we get that much better and what can we do to develop someone to get that much better. I think it'll change our perspective. But right now, just obviously filling a roster, we got to get those impact guys right away, because it's kind of different from having a roster and being able to plug holes.
Yeah. What do these guys bring to the table? This recruiting class.
I think we're going to be very big. We got some size. Got some shooters. Coach loves shooters. We got to find a point guard and got to hit the portal and find five or six more guys that can really help us. I think we'll do that. Portal opens next week, and we'll find some guys that'll be in a good position to help us.
Brandon Burgett is our guest. Lee Summit North in the house. All state there at Lee Summit North. Get back there and recruit. I mean, get some of them North kids go to UMKC.
That's my plan.
Okay.
There's a couple kids in Lee Summit are pretty good.
Yeah.
Try to get some Lee Summit guys on our roster, and
there you go.
Just everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Brandon Burgett is our guest. Congratulations again. I'm pumped for what the future can be for the Roos, and I just think it's been this hidden gem to a degree that is there with the potential that hasn't been tapped into yet. And I really think you and Coach Turgeon are taking the approach and the mission of doing that. And so I'm pumped for it, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Me too.
Brandon Burgett, congrats again. And certainly we'll be watching and rooting and hoping that everything continues to go successfully for you and Coach Turgeon and the Roos this year. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Hope to see you guys out too.
Absolutely. I'll be there. Brandon Burgett joining us here in the zone. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling, hanging out at Radio Row in Indianapolis here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. To 100,000 people were there now when you tell the story. You know, everybody, I was there. I was there. I was there too. Like, it was amazing. I was there. It's like the wild card game for the Royals. Like, there were 72,000 people in attendance at the wild card game for the Royals. Everybody was there after the fact.
Hey, pal, I was there, and I have a picture to prove it. My dad and I, we have actual evidence that we were there and did not leave early.
Yeah. You know how easy it is for people to create those pictures now with AI?
Jason, one, this was 11 years ago. Two, you know me. I have zero technologic abilities. You
Yeah.
know I can't do that. You know it has to
Right,
be
yeah.
legit.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree that that's probably the case. Doesn't mean somebody else didn't do it for you. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying you could have got help from somebody else. I do believe in this particular instance you were there at that game. I do believe you on that. I just don't believe the 100,000 people were there at Muni for Central versus Raytown.
By the way, you do want it to start popping up. How much fun would it be to go down to watch a game down there? I mean, obviously the
Yeah.
NAIA tournament. There's still sometimes you'll go down and see some. It's just such a great venue. It's a fun venue. You're downtown. It's all those things. It'd be really cool to see UMKC. Again, just try to become the next SLU and pop off. And you're right, Mark Church. I think that was such an amazing hire. That is, I think, a phenomenal hire for them.
Yeah, hanging out here at Radio Row in Indianapolis. We are going to play some sports or leisure coming up at 1 o'clock, so we'll be doing that. We'll have some Royals questions left over from last week. We'll also have some NCAA tournament questions, some new ones, as well as some from last week as well. So we'll do that coming up at 1 o'clock. We haven't really talked much about the Kansas City Royals today because we talked a lot about Bill Self in the first segment and discussing the decision that he made, returning to Kansas for at least another year. You know, he spent some time after they ended up losing to St. John's and discussed the health part of it and whether he would return, and took his time and, you know, came out yesterday with the statement that he is returning to Kansas. We'll see for another year or 2 years. So we talked a lot about that in the first hour, then conversations with Ben McCullum and Fran McCaffrey. Matt Lane joined us, Brandon Burgett right there, assistant coach for the Roos. And now we're joined by assistant head coach for the Illinois Fighting Illini, and that is Kevin Kruger joining us here in the zone on Sports Radio 810 at WHB. Kevin, how are you, sir?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
We are doing just fine. This is a great week. I'm assuming it's a great week for you to be here doing this as opposed to, you know, Brad Underwood was here last year doing this, and he's not doing that this year.
Yeah, it's a great week. It's a great week anyway, honestly. Yeah. But to have this week where you get to see a lot of your friends that you don't normally see in the profession is always great. But of course, it's got a little added element to it this week for us, trying to get ready for a great UConn team. So both things can be true.
Yeah,
I guess.
absolutely.
Great to be here, but also great to be here and also playing.
And you're here with Coaches versus Cancer. That's something your dad was very much a part of too, right?
Oh yeah, he was a huge worker in that regard. Losing his dad to cancer and starting the Las Vegas Coaches versus Cancer golf outing, a great 2-day event in May that's just always been something that I think a lot of people look forward to. Get out there, we get to play some great courses, see a lot of great people, of course, have fun in Vegas, and but also you remember while you're there that the reason is to do as much as you can to raise money for cancer awareness, as well as just spread the word and get people involved. And it's Coaches versus Cancer, but there's also tons of CEOs and tons of even just people that support universities, but also support the fight against cancer, and they just kind of all come together. So it's Coaches versus Cancer in title, but it's really kind of become over the last almost 20 years now, really just kind of people against cancer.
Yeah. Kevin Kruger's our guest. When did you realize or think that you guys had a team that could be this good to be here in Indianapolis?
Well, coming from the mid-major level and then joining the Illini in the Big Ten, of course, initially it was just an eye-opening experience, really, for a couple weeks, just of the levels that there are in college basketball right now. Knew we had a chance to be really good, of course, but as anybody that's been in this or followed college basketball, there's just so many things that have to go your way. Whether it's locations, the matchups, injuries, of course, are a huge part of the college game. And but we always knew we had the ability to make plays on the offensive side, and just kind of figuring that out, making that work, and then of course figuring out defensively how we could continue to get better and continue to force teams into tough spots was kind of just the yearly challenge, and the guys just did an unbelievable job at that and continuing to get better at it. And Now because of that, here we are.
Yeah, visiting with Kevin Kruger. One of the things it's actually sort of become a theme of the show today because, we've talked about Bill Self returning, but then we had Ben McCollum on earlier, and he's got 4 kids from Kansas City. We had Brandon Burgett, the new assistant coach for the Kansas City Roos, and from Kansas City, Keaton Wagler from Kansas City. So it's sort of been a theme of like the Kansas City basketball kids that have maybe gone under recruited or overlooked at times. I know that you just got to Illinois, but how does somebody like Keaton Wagler go from Kansas City, where the local schools aren't really recruiting him, the Missouris, the Kansas States, and he gets to Illinois and he's going to be a top 10 pick in the draft?
I think a lot of it's honestly the portal. There's a kind of a knee-jerk reaction I feel after each season that you need to replace what you lost, and you need to replace it at the level you lost it at. And sitting in those meetings and being a part of it the last 4 years, I think that's kind of one of the elements of it. There's just it's hard to be patient. It's hard to take somebody with the idea of development for a number of reasons. Are they going to stick around? Are you going to have the opportunity to be around them and grow with them? And a lot of times the portal just provides, I think, a quicker fix in a lot of senses. But Keaton still had a very good high school career. I think he was a great player and a player of the year, and not ranked in the top, of course, 50 or 75, but still pretty well respected by a lot of people that saw him. And of course, just like anything, it comes down to fit. I think Keaton came to Illinois knowing that there was going to be an opportunity to play there, and what role and capacity was kind of for him to determine as he played. And then, as the summer and the fall went on, he just kept getting better and better. And, because of that, he's where he's at. And he never gets too high. He never gets too low. He's about the most steady freshman I think I've ever seen.
Was there a a meeting or a discussion between the coaches of like, okay, this is what we maybe thought we were going to get with Keaton this year, but he's got to be our starting point guard this year if we're going to go? Was it just like, okay, we see that it's going to happen? Or was there like a meeting of like, what do we do here? Because Boswell's, taking a step back last year. Now he's the man. Now do we ask him to take another step back? And Stojakovic coming off the bench and doing different things throughout the season that you guys had to make adjustments with. But Keaton specifically, as you saw him come along, was there he's our guy, he's our point guard?
Well, I think even in the fall and the summer, Coach Underwood, his practices, it's a lot of playing. It's a lot of competitive segments. And, we just kind of grew over time, like how good of days he was having. And he's not the flashiest in the world.
Right.
He doesn't go in and dunk on everybody. It's not the really flashy moves. It's just extremely efficient. So he was just finishing days with, 4 turnovers, no assists, 4 assists, no turnovers, 6 assists, 1 turnover, 5 rebounds. And he was just kind of continually doing that too. I think it just kind of, it wasn't that, that moment where everything just fell into place and it was like, the music started playing and everybody knew it. It was just kind of one of those where he just kept getting better and he kept having great days. And because of, other guys, we had a couple guys, European guys that were kind of joined later. So we weren't really sure, I think, through the summer, and I even joined later as well. So there wasn't a lot of certainty on how things were going to play out. But the one thing, when you go back on it and look at it, the one thing that was a constant was Keaton having a pretty good day.
Do you think you guys and Arizona may have made it more on the radar of the American coaches to start looking more and more into Europe? I mean, I know there's not a gym where there's 20 NBA kids playing in Europe and you just go pick one, right? You got to recruit them, you got to find them. But seeing what you guys have done and what Arizona has done, do you think that'll open up more coaches to say, oh, let's take that route. Let's figure out if there's somebody over there?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I don't know if you can say it's because even when I was playing, the 2 things you knew were going to be true playing out on the West Coast was that Gonzaga was going to have European bigs, and St. Mary's was going to have European bigs, and Irvine and some Southern California schools did too. But I mean, the West Coast just maybe it didn't get enough attention. Maybe it didn't get enough visibility on TV because they always had guys from Europe coming and playing, and of course still do. But now, I think we're going to see a lot of schools spending a lot of time in Europe trying to to find the next David Mirkovic and the next Ivisic twins.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin Kruger's our guest assistant coach for Illinois in the Final Four playing on Saturday. Best of luck. And, it's amazing you talk about the portal, looking back to when you were a grad transfer and how much controversy that was. Like, I cannot believe they allowed you to play the very next year after 4 years and graduated and go into a grad school.
Yeah, caught a lot of flack for that. And now here we are. I didn't get any money for it, though. Like that,
And then you played for your dad. I bet that was tough.
Yeah,
was it
that
tough
was
to play for your dad? I mean, come on. He
no,
was harder on you,
because,
wasn't he?
Well, yeah, but then I still had the ace up my sleeve with, he still had to answer to mom if he was too mean. So
there you go. Kevin, thank you so much for
Thank
stopping
you,
by. I
guys.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Best of luck on Saturday night.
Thank you very
for
much.
sure. There's Kevin Kruger. He is the assistant coach for Illinois. They take on UConn on Saturday night, and what a great story it is for them this year. And Brad Underwood, all those local connections. His dad, local connection with Kansas State. Him spending a good portion of his childhood around Manhattan, Keaton Wagler, all of that stuff. So a lot of people, I think, locally probably rooting for Illinois. We'll see. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling. Wrap up this hour on the other side. We'll talk some Kansas City Royals, get into a little bit of more of Bill Self if we get into that conversation. But we'll talk some Royals and what we saw last night. And it's really interesting what we've seen from this offense so far. And, boy, what a difference 5 days make when we're discussing what this offense can be. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling, hanging out in Indy Radio Row with Westwood One, 1 o'clock Sports or Leisure. More Zone next.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes
Radio Row, Westwood One. Our coverage presented by Ready Services, providing expert plumbing, drain cleaning, cooling, and heating solutions since 1957. Schedule your appointment today at ReadyServices.com. Reed Collision Center, serving Overland Park, Kansas City, and St. Joe. Get a free photo estimate in minutes at ReedCollision.com. That's ReedCollision.com. And also Ryan Lawn and Tree. For a limited time, enjoy 50% off your first lawn application. Sign up today at ryanlawn.com/spring. That's ryanlawn.com/spring. The game got in last night, didn't know if it would, and boy, they really put in a lot of effort to make sure that game got done. And Sterling, the bullpen, wanted to make sure the groundskeepers really did their job. Let's make sure we're out here probably an hour longer than we should be, just to see how well you guys do with this quick dry and keeping the infield less puddled than it could be. So, what was a nice little lead that was just coasting to victory. And, this team's up 12-1 entering the seventh inning. And then you bring on Lucas Erceg to get it done because you couldn't possibly blow that game. That would be a heartbreaker. It wouldn't be a backbreaker. It's only the fifth game in. But out of 5 games, you would have 2 blown leads on the season, one with Estevez and another one where you were up 12-1. And you had already taken some of your players out. So you couldn't have that happen. They go to Estevez. Yes, it's disappointing that they go to Erceg. Geez.
Yeah.
If they they probably would have gone to Estevez, and then he would have been the one that gave up the 8 runs. But they didn't have to do that. They go to Erceg. He gets it done with the 2/3 of an inning. Falter struggled. Lang struggled in the game. Lynch gave up the 4 base runners. I don't know what to make of this, Sterling, because one, the offensive output is, to me, what the focus is on, and how good Noah Cameron looked in the 5 innings, 86 pitches, 4 hits, 1 walk, the 5 Ks, gave up the earned run, and we were talking about him as the 5th starter. And certainly that's a 1.8 ERA. He's got a sub-2 ERA. That's what I'm saying. He had a sub-3 ERA last year, and we thought regression. And right now, throughout the entire 2026 baseball season, he's got a sub-2 ERA. I mean, just like let's talk about the fact that Noah Cameron has actually gotten better. But he looked good. The offense was awesome. I don't really get that concerned with the bullpen because I think it's one of those weird games where you're in the game and your job is to don't walk anybody, just throw strikes. Let's get this game over. And I'm not sure the mindset when you get in there and be like, you don't have that same adrenaline. You don't have that same I've got to have pinpoint control other than I just got to get the outs and just throw strikes and don't walk anybody and get this game over.
Yeah, but that'd be great if not for the fact that Lynch walked 3 guys, Lang walked 3 guys, and Falter walked 2. Those guys,
other than that,
and one and 2/3 inning, those 3 guys pitched 1 and 2/3 innings and walked 8 guys. I'm with you for a different reason as far as why I'm not quite as worried. I do think the weather played a absurd factor when it came to. They did a great job. The crew, everyone did as best as they could, getting the field as good as possible, and they got that game in. But both sides. I mean, the Twins really struggled pitching. They talked about the broadcast. It's not even just Jeremy Guthrie. It's not even just the mound. It's your landing zone feeling uncomfortable. That Daniel Lynch never looked comfortable a single pitch, really. I'm not trying to make excuses for the guys, but I'm also trying to make it for the Twins as well because it looked like none of the pitchers from about the 5th inning on, because even Noah Cameron's last inning was kind of the same thing. It was about 5th inning on where it felt like no one was really comfortable.
Yeah, and what are you going to do in that? Yes, you got to fight through it. So next go around, hopefully they're able to fight through it. I don't know if the game was 3-1. When Noah Cameron left, does Lynch give up 3 runs and on 3 walks and a hit, giving up 4 base runners in an inning? Does Lang come in there and look like he did? Maybe there were butterflies and jitters about the fact that it's the first time he's been pitching as a Royal at Kauffman Stadium, and he's wearing the jersey that he grew up going to games and watching. So maybe there was a little bit of that, but I mean, come on. You're a major league player. Carter grew up watching the Royals. Noah Cameron grew up watching the Royals. We've seen other guys do that. Alex Gordon. So we've seen guys do that went to the K. So no excuse there. If you're going to have a terrible outing with the bullpen, it's great that it happened on a game where they scored 13 runs.
Yeah, either score 1 and it doesn't matter, or score 13 and it doesn't matter.
That's exactly right. Don't score 13 and then lose. Score 1 and you lose because you gave up 9. Oh, well, you weren't going to win that one. Score 13 when you gave up 9, and hell yeah, you won that one. And now you're a game over 500. And through your first 6 games, you had opportunities to win 5 of them. Or through your first 5 games, I should say, you had opportunity to win 4 of them.
I'm going to go ahead and say this. Kyle Isbell is now on pace for a 19.44 WAR season.
Yeah.
That includes him only if he plays 4 out of every 5 games, too.
Right.
So if he plays all 5, well, then, of course, it goes up. But I'm counting for the platoon situation. But Kyle has been incredible. We saw our first new K home run with the fences. That was the first ball that would not have been out in the old K, in the old Kauffman. We saw that from Kyle, which was nice to see. At the bottom of the order at one point was 11 of 11 straight times getting on base. And by the way, it was the entire outfield. That was Cags, Isaac Collins, and Kyle. What a difference a year makes. Bobby Witt Jr. continues to hit the ball extremely hard and has really nothing to show from it. I mean, I thought Bobby had some really hard hit balls, and it was like Kendrys Morales a couple of years ago. I guess more than a couple, about a decade ago now. I thought Carter Jensen, I didn't love all of his at-bats, but it was nice to see him finally come through on his final at-bat to at least give every starter a hit in that game. That was nice to see. But again, it comes down to the bottom of the order has been elongated. India, Cags, Collins, Kyle have done such a phenomenal job. They're carrying the top of the lineup for the most part right now. You know it's not going to happen all season long, but get it while you can, because these 2 wins at home at the K, it's been the bottom of the lineup and it's been the outfielders.
Yeah, and that's sort of what we talked about. Like we've discussed, and we were talking about it from the starting staff position of Noah Cameron going to the mound and Reagan struggling on Friday. We'll see what he does today, but and going through the rotation. Hey, if every time through the rotation one guy has a bad game, okay, well it's probably something that you'll take when you've got the depth of starting that you have, because each and every game out, you're not going to get the same guy that's amazing. You're going to have somebody else, step up on a given night. Hey, this guy had a great night. This guy came through. These 2 or 3 players came through. This guy struggled and he was 0 for 4, but that's okay because he was 3 for 4 the night before, and now you're stringing these wins together. It's early on. The offense is struggling. The top part of the offense, Michael had the RBI, or the 3 RBIs last night. That was nice. So the top part is struggling for the most part in terms of what we would probably expect to see with the guys driving the runs in. But while that's happening, you've got the guys that we had huge questions about what they would look like this season coming through in these games. And, I tweeted out jokingly a couple times last night, man, if the outfield could just get some help from the other position players, this offense could really take off. The craziness of this season so far, us discussing how good the outfield has been offensively, and they're winning with those games. They're not wasting those. That's the main thing, is what you were talking about, score 1 or score 13 and win. You're getting the production from 7, 8, 9, and you're not wasting it in losses, and you're going, well, when are you going to get that from those guys? No, you've won the last couple of games by getting production from the bottom part of your order, and hopefully the top part starts getting hot, because right now they're in first place, baby. First place Kansas City Royals right now.
What's crazy is I think Caglione, to me, is the guy that has the biggest surprise of how good he's looked at the plate. Even when he wasn't necessarily coming through, he looked at times more patient. He still occasionally is aggressive first pitch, or at least early in the count, where you're like, hey, they're trying to keep you off balanced here. But you just see the plate approach looks so much smoother for Caglione, and we haven't even necessarily seen the power numbers come yet. We obviously saw the ripped double, but again, point remains. I like what Cags has done. Isaac Collins is going to be again that floor raiser that we talked about. The floor has been raised. Kyle has at times gone through stretches like this, maybe not quite this hot, but you know who he is. Always going to be a phenomenal defender. And I think Mike Kell, by the way, I know we're talking the top of the lineup. I think Mike Kell has done a great job as a leadoff hitter. More walks than strikeouts, on base at 429. This is more of a flat, plain swing. I've not seen him with the fences coming in. If there was one guy, if you would have said, hey, who tries to hit more home runs now that the fence comes in, I may have been Mike Kell, because we saw that in the past. But he's not doing that. He's just trying to get on base, and it's worked. I've been impressed for a majority of this team as far as their plate discipline and plate approach. It does seem better than in years past.
Yeah, and you mentioned Carter. Carter gets the day off today. They're going
He was
with
scratched, and we're still trying to figure that out. I don't.
Okay,
I
yeah, I
have
didn't
not
see that. I'm here in Indy. I did not see that. Okay, so good to know.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good.
Let me see if I can find it. It
Good
was
information to know.
I noticed it in the. Let me look up and see if Annie Rogers has it now.
Cags is DHing and Lane Thomas is in right, and they moved Cags up behind Sal. We were kind of wondering, my brother and nephew and I, like, hey, do they move Cags up the way that he's swinging the bat over and slide Carter down for a little bit?
So they had the same lineup as yesterday, but with Carter catching and Salvi DHing. But then again, about a half hour ago, there was a lineup change, and according to Annie Rogers, still nothing yet in regards to the reason why. I don't know if it was a slow, just he struggled, for the most part last game. But I don't know why they would have put the lineup out originally then with him in it, if that's the case. So
yeah, I can't imagine that would just be some random, he's not swinging the bat well. No, you woke up this morning, you're planning on him playing, day game after night game, catching for Salvi, and that's not the case now anymore. By the way, the anecdote from Jake Eisenberg, Cags anecdote, he talked with Trevor Vance, and he said Jack Caglione last night asked one of the grounds crew members how many were on the crew, and the guy said roughly 20. So Cags brought in 3 dozen donuts and coffee for him this morning when he showed up to the ballpark today.
what a good dude! I saw that too.
awesome,
I'm
man.
glad you brought that up.
That's just
and
a cool
by the
thing
way,
to do.
That's a youngster. That's a
Yeah.
young dude who gets it. The kids are going to be just all right. I mean, that is the Kansas City way, though, right? Doesn't that make you feel good, like the youngsters in Kansas City doing stuff like that?
Dude, that was awesome, man.
Badass.
Yeah, that's so cool. And you know what? I don't know what he'll look like today or tomorrow, but it'll be the first time that Cags goes up to the plate and sees a batting average up there on the big screen the way that it is. 357. It's not 150, barely getting to 200. Now he's down to 076. Right? Now he's batting 170, and now he's at 220. Last year struggling to try to get get anything of substance up there. He hits a couple of home runs. That's cool to finally see some numbers in the home run column. But now he can look up there today and feel comfortable with that 357 batting average that's there.
Yeah, you think Kyle's pretty happy seeing 5
Yes.
71?
Not bad. Not bad at all. And we talk about the top of the lineup. I mean, Michael's batting over 300 early on, and Bobby's almost at 300. So, yeah, it's just, let's get some more consistent runs with this team. 13 is nice. Let's do another 13 as well and not have, a 4-game stretch with 9 and a 1-game stretch with 13.
What's funny is Michael's OPS would be similar to last year, but doing it a different way, and this would be a better way. On base of 429, slugging 375. Very similar OPS to last year, but just way more getting on base. I would take that, Jason.
Yes, I'll take 429 on base percentage for Michael Garcia right now. Sign me up. Yes, 100%.
Settle out of court.
I'll settle out of court. Cags batting 357. Yes, I'll settle out of court for that one too. Isbell 571. I think there's more there.
You want Chiefs. Follow the leader. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Patrick Mahomes has bounced back from all sorts of injuries to play sooner than people realize, including a dislocated kneecap.
I would never bet against him. He's always going to put in the time and effort.
I mean, he's been in that training room every single day. And then even when he goes to Dallas to get away for a little bit, he takes one of our trainers with him.
Your home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
There's nothing more meaningful you can do for yourself, your family, and friends than finally getting rid of that pain so they can enjoy time with you again, especially heading into vacation season. QC Kinetics takes care of your pain in the office, and you go right on with your day. That easy. So if you say yes to any of these questions, you are the kind of patient QC Kinetics regenerative treatments help every day. 1, I have consistent joint pain on my knees, hips, shoulders, or back. 2, the pain keeps me from getting a good night's sleep. 3, I'm missing work or saying no to activities that I enjoy. 4, I don't want surgery and a long recovery. Moment of truth. Did you answer yes to any of those statements? Today could be your day to turn the corner and finally get relief. QC Kinetics treatments are easy. Done in the office, and you go about your day. The consultation's free, so don't wait. Call today, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics.
College basketball is here. buzzer beaters, big moments, where greatness comes to play and legends are made. That same competitive energy lives at Aristocrat Motors, where they treat every customer like a champion. At Aristocrat Motors. Visit aristocratmotors.com to schedule a test drive at one of their 4 Kansas City and Topeka area locations. Experience the luxury of Aristocrat Motors online at aristocratmotors.com. The Sports Radio 810 app is available now for both Android and Apple. All you have to do is search Sports Radio 810 WHB and...
So I'll go ahead and tell you down the line who we have in order, right? Our first one will be John.
Okay,
but
cool.
right now we only have one on the line, but I think that might just be easier.
Cool.
Where integrity matters.
Take a vacation from your bills, pay off credit cards, and save thousands of dollars after a simple phone call to Golden Oak Lending. Visit goldenoaklending.com to speak to someone today. NMLS 114937.
Les Norman here. I want to invite you to tune into my show, Breaking the Norm. Every week, my special guests join, and we cover the brightest and most compelling side of sports. Inspiration, heart, and a whole lot of positivity from people who have lived life differently. Athletes, entertainers, and people like you and me, sharing their stories of challenges they've overcome, experiences that uplift, motivate, and celebrate the good side of sports and life. Breaking the Norm is presented by TruckMotors.com and First Federal Bank of Kansas City. Every Saturday on Sports Radio 810 at 7 a.m. and Tuesdays at 4 p.m. on ESPN Kansas City.
KCFX HD4 Harrisonville, K279PI Kansas City, 103.7 FM. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City. You're into sports, but nothing wrong with a little leisure time. Why not both?
Heart attack by the time you're 40 if you don't learn to relax.
It's time for sports or leisure on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
I will continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, final hour of the show, day one of our coverage here in Indianapolis from Radio Row with Westwood One. Games coming up on Saturday night and Monday night, the championship game. Our coverage presented by Ready Services, Reed Collision Centers, and Ryan Lawn and Tree. Hanging out one more hour to go, 913-381-810. That is the phone number because we're going to play a little sports or leisure today presented by Johnny's Tavern. $25 we're giving away to Johnny's Tavern. When you play sports or leisure, you give us a call. You get a sports question, get a leisure question, get them both right. You win either of them wrong. You lose. Unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. And that question is out there available for someone to call in and request if they know the answer to it, or if they have a machine with internet that helps them along the way. Who knows? We give out the right answer when it has been answered correctly, or we have simply run out of time to play. That's sports or leisure on a Thursday. So there you go.
This is a lot for Darcy today. I'm impressed. Yeah, you're on remote doing this in Indy. I'm here. It's a lot for me too because my phone ability is 2 scoops of ass. Okay. So there's a large chance that if you win, I'll try to keep you on. No promises. If you lose, if you win and I hang up on you, call back. That's how it works. Yeah. That's how we play sports or leisure with Sterling in the big boy chair.
Do you know how to put them on hold and things like that? Dial up the call and then put them on hold?
Sterling, I was just going to do the whole thing.
Well, but what if you get calls in? What if you get more people call in? That's going to this is how it works. Someone's calling in out. This is going to be wild, guys. I'm going to be an adult. Yeah, that's too bad. I can do it with one person, but when you get to the full phone lines, I struggle mightily.
Yeah. So when there's one guest on, you're able to patch them in and then put them on hold. So you can do that one.
I can do all that. But then once it gets to 9, I'm like, dude, what are we doing here?
The flashing lights overwhelm you. There's I don't know what to do. What is this clock thingy? What's this counter? What does this mean for 10 minutes and 5 minutes? I'm not sure.
This is the real reason why I don't like Vegas. It's not because of everything else. It's because the flashing lights are overwhelming to me. That's what happens.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's tempting. It's drawing you in. It's calling your name. It's like a siren.
It's a temptress?
Yeah, that's
temptress.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
right. A word.
100%. Yes. All right, so 913-381-810, that's the phone number to play. 913-381-810, the phone number to play. That is how you play. The categories we have for today, and we'll try to do a couple of segments here, depending on if somebody stops by or not at Radio Row. We always have the possibility of having to stop it mid-game or delay it, whatever it might be. So let's play while we can. The categories on the sports side, we still have Royals opening day, and then we have the NCAA tournament questions as well. So we've got a few NCAA tournament questions along with Royals still opening day questions there. What about on the leisure side, Sterling?
Bringing back two categories that were gone the past couple of weeks. Bringing back riddles, way
All right.
more riddles now, of course. Bringing back one-hit wonders, a little tougher, but one-hit wonders. And then we'll always have the general potpourri.
Okay, general potpourri. Yes, so there we go. Those are the categories on the sports side and the leisure side. We're ready to go here in Indy. What about you, Sterling?
We are ready here in KC.
Okay. Michael, that includes you?
Let's do it.
All right. See,
All right.
How about that? Sterling, this is where you got to do some work.
Let's see if I can get this going. John. Welcome, John.
Hey, John.
Hello.
Hey, it's John, everybody. Sports or leisure, John? Okay. All right. Let's go with this one then. Oh man, did I ask this? I did ask that question last week because we played the little clippy clip from Michael playing that. Let's go with this one. All right. What player has started the most opening days in Royals history at the same position? Most starts, same position, most years. That is correct. A better county executive than he was a second baseman. Nobody would say that, but that's what he might say. 15 times. Yes, 15 times he started at second base on opening day, did Frank White.
I like how John said correct before anyone else could say correct. Like he just basically correct. Nice, John.
Yes, well done, John. George Brett was 12 times at third. Amos Otis 11 in center field. So those are the other ones that have come close to Frank White's 15 opening day starts at one specific position. Leisure with Sterling.
Potpourri, one-hit wonders, or riddles? All right, one-hit wonders. It is afternoon now. Who sang Afternoon Delight?
Ron Burgundy.
Correct. Starland Vocal Band.
Yeah.
Again, I think this shows Afternoon Delight for everyone's ears.
Absolutely, yes. Boop, there you go. Ron
right.
Burgundy sang that one. Thank you, John. That's a winner right there out of the gates. Well done.
Let me see if I can put you on hold. I'll do my best.
See if you can do that. Let's see if he does it. We're all waiting.
I did it. I did
Hey,
it.
nice
I put him on
job.
hold. I am an elite phone
There you go, man.
screener fella.
Absolutely.
Here comes Tim. Tim.
Timmy. Tim, sports or leisure, man? What side do you want to start with? Yo. Well, that's okay. John already knocked it out for you. I bet there's another one for you.
A little difficult. I don't know if everyone knows Starland Vocal band, but all right. Well, I have I have an easy one here.
Sterling is getting pushed around.
I got an easy one here for you. It's easy for me. Should be easy for Tim too.
Ask it then.
You ready? Loving you. Loving you.
It's easy because you're beautiful.
No. Kind of close. Yeah. She had like the highest octave range of all time.
Clearly.
5 octave range.
How about that? Usually going to pay double for that.
No. Her daughter's Maya Rudolph, the actress and comedian.
I like how I like Tim's strategy of saying, well, it's not this and it's not that. but it's not this, right? It's not that, right? So as he's thinking, he's just helping you, or Sterling is helping him eliminate. It's an interesting strategy. All right, what do you got?
I'm not going to hit the high notes.
What do you got, Tim? Throw a dart. Here we go. Big side. If you know it, you know it. If not, you don't. Yep. If you know it, you know it. Yep. So. Yep, you will. Yeah. Tim, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it, brother. 913-381-0810, $25 to Johnny's Tavern we gave to John. He won. That question is out there. Who was up next, Sterling?
Up next, we have Jerry.
Jerry, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with, man?
I'll
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, who's that?
Minnie Ripperton.
That is Minnie Ripperton,
Yeah, it is.
5-octave range, daughter Maya Rudolph. I am not going to hit the
high note,
whatever the whistle, yell, scream. That's just so glorious to your ears. It's like a warm summer day and the breeze drifting towards you.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice job getting that right. That's halfway there. We've got the sports side. Do you want some Royals or would you like some NCAA tournament? All right, so since 2000, now that Cole Reagans did not come through on Friday against the Braves, since 2000, only 5 pitchers have recorded a win on opening day for the Royals. Only 5 pitchers have actually got the win on opening day. Name 2 for now. Let's see. James Shields was not one of them. James Shields was not one of them. You know what? Because we're feeling a little gifty today, we'll take another dart. Or throw another dart. I don't know. Maybe you want to have a dart as well while you're thinking. I don't know.
Smoke another dart.
Yeah, smoke another dart. Throw another dart. You're darn right, Hal. So, Gilmesh is one of them. Gilmesh is one of them. Do you have another one in mind? One more. Edinson Volquez is correct. That is well done. Sterling, you have a guess as to who the other 3 were since 2000?
One more time.
Since
Do it again.
2000.
So, Lebo's in here trying to get stuff, and Drake's in here
I get
fixing
it.
stuff. So,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Love it. Since 2000, 5 pitchers have recorded a win on opening day. So not only the Royals won the game, but they got credited with the win on opening day. He named Gilmesh and Edinson Volquez. There are 3 others.
Starters, correct?
Starters got a win. That is correct. Yep.
I
should.
I mean,
That would make
Zach
sense
Greinke?
for me
Zach
to say
Greinke's
5.
probably one, right?
Greinke's not one of them. Nope.
Greinke's not one of them. Did Jose Lima start an opening day?
No.
Jose Lima
Luke Hochevar?
Not Lucas Hochevar.
Yeah, he probably didn't win too many games.
2 of them were back-to-back. Like back-to-back years since 2000, but back-to-back years.
I know
there
Cole
was a win.
Reagans did not win.
Nope.
I know he lost.
Nope. There hasn't been a win on
Brad
opening
Keller?
day. Brad Keller in 2019.
Nice. Good call on
Correct.
Brad Keller.
2 more. One before Edinson Volquez and one before Gilmesh.
Danny Duffy?
Nope.
Oh,
wow. Man.
He started opening day 2015, this guy did, and got the win.
Giordano?
Ace got the win in 2015, and one more in 2003. That would be the man himself, Runelvis Hernandez.
Yeah.
5 pitchers since 2000 have recorded a win on opening day. Renelvis Hernandez, Gilmesh, Giordano Ventura, Edinson Volquez, and Brad Keller.
What a group.
There you go. And not Cole Reagans. One more year. We wait another year to see if somebody can join that prestigious group. That is a winner. Back to the phone lines. Sterling, who is up next?
Good job, Jerry. We're proud of you.
How about that? Jerry's a winner.
Up next is Charles. Charles in charge.
Yeah, Charles, sports or leisure, buddy. What side do you want to start with, man?
Let's do leisure. We're going to do the.
All right, this one makes me laugh. Kung Fu fighting.
Makes him laugh too.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Yes.
They were.
Yes.
And it was fast as lightning.
Yeah. Although it was a little bit frightening.
That would be
That would be
Carl
Carl Douglas. He's still out kicking at 83 years old, Carl Douglas.
Man, good for him. Well done, Carl. Way to stay around with us a long time. All right, we got Royals and we have NCAA tournament. What say you, sir? All right, Royals again. Apparently didn't need to come up with tournament questions. Let's go with. All right, let's go with this one. Who hit the 2 home runs in the 9th inning in the 2004 opening day to cap off the Royals' 6-run 9th in the comeback to beat the White Sox? Two home runs were hit in the 2004 opening day 9th inning. The Royals scored 6 in the 9th inning to walk off and beat the White Sox. 2 home runs were hit. One of them was the walk-off. Who hit the 2 home runs in the 9th to tie it and to win it? One of the crazier opening days. Yep, 2004 opening day. That was coming off the year where they had finished above 500, and they were going to be even better that next year. And oh my God, what an amazing win on opening day. And that was just going to set the tone for the rest of the season that they were going to win a division. They did not win a division.
They won 58 games that year.
That's true. 57 after this game. 2 home runs hit. Nope. It was 2 different players. 2 different players. One was a role player, and one was a stud.
You want?
Yeah,
name, right?
yeah. If you can, cheers. Yeah. Yep. Yep. That is true. Beltran is the one that hit the, I believe that was the walk-off home run.
Yeah, that was.
Beltran, yes. And then another player that hit the home run before Beltran reminds me of like a 2003, 2004 version of Paulo Orlando.
Yeah.
Was this guy.
Yeah, I think there's a pinch hit home run, too, he hit.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, it was Mendy Lopez.
That's
Well
nails,
done.
man.
Yeah. Nice job. Nice job. Mendy Lopez and Carlos Beltran hit those home runs in the 9th inning. Is that a winner, or is that just
That's a
sports
winner.
side? Yeah, nice job.
That's a winner. And by the way, you know who started that game? Mark Burley. Should be Hall of Famer over Andy Pettit.
Wow. I don't remember who started that game for the Royals in 2004. Was that Runelvis too, maybe? That started that game? Because he
I
started
don't
03.
know.
I think he did start that one, probably. Who knows? Well done, Charles. We'll put you on hold, get your information. Congratulations, sir. Nice job.
Thank you, Johnny.
There it is, $25 at Johnny's Tavern, 913-381-810 is the phone number. Somebody drops
Jason,
off, somebody calls in.
I'll tell you who. 913-381-810. I'll tell you who started that game. It was Brian Anderson.
Brian Anderson, that's right. Yes, because I think they acquired him the year before, and then he returned that year, and I think that was the year where we found out, maybe his it's just over for him. Or was it later 2004 that we found out that it just wasn't?
I don't know.
Gonna go
I
on
mean,
anymore,
all of 2000. I mean, you look at that lineup, and it's just a lineup of. I thought Juan Gonzalez, who, by the way, had 2 hits that game, I believe, was going to be Himothy. I was all in. Juan Gonzalez and Benito Santiago are Royals. They both combined for 4 hits in that game. Everything's going to be great. And then it was not.
Yeah. He came over from Cleveland, did Brian Anderson, and pitched 7 games in that 2003 season, a sub-4 ERA, and then returned to the Royals in 04. 35 games, 26 starts, a 5.64 ERA, then started the season with the Royals in 05, and 6 starts, 6.75, and he was done. So
So we'll take a break. Everyone
Yeah,
call
let's
in
do that.
913-381-810, sports or leisure. $25 to Johnny's Tavern coming your way.
Yes, 913-381-810. We'll come back. We'll play, depending on if somebody stops by or not, we'll play another round of sports or leisure here. We are hanging out at Radio Row. Our coverage presented by Ready Services, Reed Collision Centers, Ryan Lawn and Tree. More zone. Somebody drops off. That means a phone line is open. 913-381-810. More zone, sports or leisure. $25 to Johnny's Tavern coming up next.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
There's a difference between buying meat and buying it from a real butcher. At Carne Diem, quality comes first. Every cut is selected with care, every steak prepared to impress. Carne Diem offers premium beef, fresh pork, chef-ready options, and bold flavors that make every meal memorable. If you love to grill, smoke, sear, or roast, this is your spot. Stop settling for ordinary. Choose better flavor, better service, and better results at Carne Diem in Briarcliff.
Looking to upgrade your space without the big box headache? Hey, this is Ryan with Flooring Direct KC. Since 2007, our family-owned team has brought you factory direct pricing. From stunning hardwood and luxury vinyl to carpet, tile, and countertops. We handle it all, including professional installation. Come see us at 1510 Northwest Vivian Road or visit us at flooringdirectofkc.com. Mention 810 to save 15% off all flooring material. Flooring Direct of KC, Kansas City's hometown flooring experts.
Stephen St. John here. Is your lawn ready to be the envy of the neighborhood? Custom Lawn and Landscape makes achieving a green, weed-free lawn easy with their expert 7-step fertilization and weed control program. With over 40 years of experience serving Johnson County, they're excited to now be serving Lawrence and all of Kansas City as well. And here's the best part. Get your first application absolutely free. Call Custom Lawn today or visit CustomLawn.com to claim your free application and get started. Custom Lawn and Landscape, because beautiful lawns don't happen by accident.
Paid for, client portrayal, and endorsed. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this.
816-888-75. Spring's around the corner, and savings are in full bloom at Menards. Get your backyard ready with garden tools that make every job easy. Define your landscape with durable edger blocks. Then top it off with colorful mulch that keeps weeds down and supports healthy plant growth. You'll also find a huge selection of grass seed and fertilizer to make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood. Gear up, green up, and save big at Menards. Save.
The longest family-owned restaurant in Kansas City is Dixon's Famous Chili. All-you-can-eat tacos every day, and kids eat free on Wednesday. Dixon's is 7 blocks north of the stadiums on Highway 40. Online orders are available at dixonschili.com. Dixon's Famous Chili, a KC tradition since 1919.
This wasn't how Patrick pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of his severe knee pain.
Walk around the golf course, or to swing, just pretty much doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround I was to where I am now. I've gone from 15 handicap down to 7 handicap. It's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We got T-Box on the line. I'll go ahead and pod you up now.
All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We're hanging out in Indianapolis, Radio Row. Our coverage presented by Ready Services, Reed Collision Centers, Ryan Lawn and Tree.